this is going to be my life. I'm going to be a big CEO.
CEO. So
But
he saw himself as the
Yeah,
big honcho.
I'm obviously the tech guy. Since I am the CTO, then obviously he is the CEO, but I don't think that that should.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Startup Snapshot, a Tech in Asia podcast. My name's Nat, and if this is your first time tuning in, this mini-series is a little experiment we're running here at Tech in Asia where we hear from founders and leaders in the startup scene to learn their stories and the challenges they face, as well as to gain some insight on their industries and the innovations they're making in the scene. Joining me on this episode is Eugene So, founder of VR tech startup Mind Palace. Welcome to the podcast, Eugene.
Hi, I'm Eugene. So
Thank you for coming. Maybe let's start off. Tell me a little bit about Mind Palace. How did Mind Palace come about?
Mind Palace is where we do virtual reality for the elderly and dementia patients. So we bring virtual reality headsets to nursing homes, and then we let the residents put it on, and they get to travel the world from the safety of their nursing home and experience new things. And hopefully next time they will be able to use the virtual reality headsets when they get more tech savvy in the future, and be able to use it to socialize and meet people virtually, meet their family members, and have more autonomy and agency within the nursing home.
Okay, so it's very interesting because I know this because I met you a couple months back when you were in the Start Pre-Accelerator. Right?
Yes.
But I think you had a very interesting inspiration behind Mind Palace. Right?
Oh yes.
Before Mind Palace, you were running Dude.sg.
Yes.
So how did Mind Palace actually come about?
So Dude.sg, I started it when I was still in university. When I'm a programmer tech artist. I was from a fine arts school and I just happened to be really good at programming. So there was a lot of tech and art projects and installations that I would do, like maybe making a website and maybe some mobile game apps. So I would do all those as Dude Studios. So as I was doing that, I explored a lot of technology, VR, AR. I can do all those. At the start of last year, one of my friends who is an NTU lecturer, he's also a Straits Times journalist. For one of his articles, he stayed for 1 month in a nursing home. Then after experiencing that, he knows that I got a lot of virtual reality headsets. He suggested to me, why don't you bring a virtual reality headsets to a nursing home and let them try out. So we did that a couple of times and I posted it on Instagram. One of my friends who works for Channel News Asia saw it and they wanted to shoot an episode called hashtag Don't Forget Me. It has 3 episodes and it's all about introducing technology to the elderly. So they featured me on one of the episodes, on a 1-hour episode. As that was going on, I was getting invited to give talks to a lot of elderly conferences. So one of them was also called the Enabling Festival, which is a 3-day festival just focused on solutions for dementia patients in Singapore. That Channel News Asia episode was aired. I was invited to this talk. Before I went to give that talk, I didn't have a working demo, but I only had a hypothesis on how VR can help the elderly. So I was just planning on talking about the hypothesis, but the week before that, I joined a hackathon. One of my friends called me up and said, hey, we don't have a developer in our team and the hackathon starts tomorrow or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
And then I know for the rest of the teams, they already had previous meetups, but she called me up like, hey, can you join? Then I think she made special arrangements to ask the organizer to let someone join last minute. So I joined it. And throughout the hackathon, I decided to do something that was useful for me outside. I made
double purpose, right?
Yeah, double purpose. Okay. So that I can have, I decided to make the demo for the talk that I was going to give for the dementia one.
Right. So this hackathon, it was this was Startup Weekend, right?
Yes, it is Startup Weekend.
Right. So that hackathon Startup Weekend basically was the kind of official start for Mind Palace, I guess.
Official, I don't know. It depends on what you mean by official.
Well, maybe not official, but technically, like that's where Mind Palace kind of kicked off, right? Which Okay, so how's it been so far?
So far, it's quite busy. So every other day I'm at a nursing home or hospital. Yesterday I was at Renci. Today I'll be going to NTUC Health in Jurong.
Alright, so I understand that right now you have kind of a lean team, right? It's you, you have one person helping you, and you kind of have volunteers from time to time. But I also know that you used to have a co-founder.
Oh yeah, the one teammate who happened to be in the winning team with me in the hackathon.
Okay, so your co-founder was actually a teammate when you participated in Startup Weekend.
In the Startup Weekend when I last minute joined, so I only know the person that called me up to join.
Okay, that was a team of what, 4 or 5 or?
Yeah, that was a team of. It started out with 5. One dropped out in the middle of the hackathon before we decided to do Mind Palace. Yeah, I think it was a 3-day hackathon. So the team kept flip-flopping ideas. It was mainly just these two other people arguing about. The rest of us were like, oh, let's just do something. We don't care already. So on the very last night we thought that we had a good idea going. Then on the very last night, someone, shall not mention names, someone decided, oh, it's not a good idea. Let's not do that. Then demoralized and everything. Then one of the 5 team members just up and left. Then like even more demoralized. So it's like we had nothing to lose already. The next morning we need to present already. So then one of the Startup X mentors who happened to be my friend also, he came to me like, why are you wasting your time here? Because he knows about the stuff I do outside. Then he kind of suggested, hey, why don't you do this thing with dementia patients? I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I need. And I happen to be giving a talk to the Dementia Festival next week. It will be very nice for me to have something to show, something working to show them.
This was on the last night.
This was on the very last night.
On the last night was when you got the inspiration to really focus on using VR for dementia patients.
I mean, I already had a hypothesis, a rough hypothesis, which was what I was going to talk about, but I didn't have a demo. So I decided, since these 3 days, I've been like basically doing nothing. They just keep flip-flopping ideas, and then I thought, okay, didn't want to waste my time. And then I just want to spend this night working on doing the demo, and I know I can do it. I can finish the working demo in one night.
So effectively, you kind of did everything yourself?
I finished the working demo, and the rest of the team, they worked out the slides. And then the next morning when I came back, I went home to do it because I didn't want them to change the idea anymore. So after that, I told them, okay, I'm going home to do this and don't change the idea anymore, because there's a very good chance that if I was there, they're like, oh, why don't we do this other thing? Oh my god.
Right.
After that, when I came back the next morning, ready to present, I'm like, yes, I finished the demo already.
Right.
So, and then they were working on the slides. I was watching. They went to this other remote place to go and work on the slides. Then I saw all it was a very long slide. So I was like, hey, that's a bit long for how many minutes that we are only allowed. So I was a bit worried. But then when they came back, it was just these 2 other people. They were working on the slides and they were bickering about it. So, and then me and another teammate, we were just at the sidelines. Okay, you all just do the slides, and because I was already quite happy with my demo, I didn't really want to join that bickering among the slides. Right. So after that, when we won, it was the 4 of us that won. So one of them, the 2 people who I saw who was making the slides and bickering about it all the way until the very end, they were still arguing about the slides. One of them is an exchange student.
Okay.
He went back to Germany. Right. And then the other one, who is my friend who called me in, she went to work in London. And then the 4th teammate, who during that time, he was the most chill out and most passive one. He just finished national service. He ORD during the hackathon, I think.
Oh wow, how did he even participate?
So I think he had clearing leave or something like that.
Okay.
So he just finished NS, very young, and during the hackathon, it's like he was just along for the ride from what I observed.
I guess there's always one group member like that, right? There's always that one project mate who's always just chilling one side, right?
Yeah, he participated as a designer, and I saw his design is not bad. It's like he's a very talented artist. He was the only available teammate left who was in Singapore.
So you guys started building on Mind Palace, and then how did it happen that now it's just you?
Yeah, we started, at first because he's such a talented artist, I actually wanted him to help me with Dude Studios because I got a lot of projects still going on. under Dude.sg, VR, AR
Right.
websites, we could use an artist. So I decided to, hey, why don't you join Dude Studio? So we had a few projects, went to China, brought him along, let him see. So it was like, the relationship wasn't equal. It was like, I'm like 32 years old already. He's what, 20? He just finished NS.
Right.
So it's like I was kind of mentoring him.
Okay.
But then when it came to Startup X, suddenly we are there and Startup X saw us as equals.
Right, as co-founders.
Yeah, as co-founders. But then who's doing all the work it's me lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that point, was he still being the same self that he was at the hackathon, like just chill and passive?
No, at that time when it's just two people, both need to be active already.
Right.
So you can see he's trying to put in effort.
Okay. So there was an improvement. And by this time, both of you, aside from working on Dude, you guys were working on Mind Palace, correct?
Yeah, but when Startup X started, which was beginning of January, I already kind of felt like, okay, maybe he might not be the suitable co-founder for Mind Palace, which is helping the elderly. Personality-wise, like helping the elderly doesn't seem like his sort of thing also.
Right.
I had a good 1-2 months of trying to getting to know him, and so like, okay, maybe it might not be good lah. So I think I suggested to him I should get my other guy who got me into VR elderly in the first place.
Was it the lecturer?
Yeah, the lecturer, yes.
Okay.
So that he should be part of Mind Palace. Then he understandably got upset because he just finished NS and then he won this hackathon. To him, that this is his entire world already.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm guessing because
right.
you can imagine someone just finished NS. Hey, I won a hackathon. Although he was being passive throughout the whole thing, but he passively won it. And then now this Startup X thing happened. Like, oh, this is going to be my life. I'm going to be a big CEO.
A CEO. So
but
he saw himself as the big honcho.
Because I'm obviously the tech guy. So
Right.
it's like since I am the CTO, then obviously he is the CEO, but I don't think that should be.
Is that how he thought it works? Like
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing that he felt like he could be lah. Which
Okay.
is
right. As a de facto CEO, kind of. What was he actually doing?
what was he actually doing? He made the logo and helped me out, like cold calling some people, which eventually those all failed.
Oh.
Yeah. And I guess I also asked him to find one elderly dementia patient so that we can test our thing on. So he managed to find one, but it wasn't quite as very early stage as she was still functioning properly. So this was for a presentation that we had to make before Startup X started. So I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. I could have got my own grandmother also.
Right. Okay.
So I went to find one also, and I managed to find one I think 2 days before the thing, and then got the daughter to come down to the presentation also.
Okay, so effectively, he was kind of doing cold calls, kind of not very well helping out with the operations.
He was doing his best lah.
Okay, so he was doing his best.
He was doing his best, but his best is like in terms of effort. If I put in this much of effort, I can get a lot more things done
Right.
compared to him, which is very understandably because maybe his network is not as large as mine.
Definitely. So you were also saying that it was kind of a personality issue.
Like when I suggested to him that maybe he's not suitable for this, then he then suddenly see this very scary side of him. He's like, oh, I'm going to start up another Mind Palace, it's going to run you down.
Wow.
Like, wow, like that one ah. Oh my goodness. So from then I knew, okay, better not go into any business relationship or relationship even. Better not get into anything with this type of people.
Oh wow. Okay.
But understandably, he is still young. He'll eventually learn.
Okay, so when you had to let go of your co-founder, especially at the time because it was just the two of you, how did you pick up the slack from effectively downsizing to half the company size?
There was not much difference.
Oh,
Without him, it was still the same amount of workload.
right. Okay, so moving forward, do you have any plans for Mind Palace in the coming months?
Oh yes. So there is talking to a few nursing homes and then working out new experiences. The latest one is in collaboration with with chefs. So we got the Michelin star Hawker Chan to star in one of our experiences. So he will cook the chicken rice and introduce the chicken rice and how he does it to the uncle and aunties in the nursing home. So he addresses them directly in virtual reality. So as they are watching him cook the chicken rice, they can smell the chicken rice also.
Wow.
But they won't know why. They would just think that it's the technology. But it's actually because we have tap out the chicken rice from him for them in the nursing home. So when after they finish watching him preparing the chicken rice, they will take out the VR headset and then the chicken rice is in front of them for them to eat. So they're like, whoa, this idea came from Society for the Aged Sick when we did some trials with them where we brought them to Great Wall of China. They thought that especially for the dementia patients, we should incorporate not only the sight and sound, we should have other senses also, taste. So now we have this 5D experience where it incorporates taste, smell, and touch. Touch would be when they eat the chicken rice and they feel it with it's a full experience.
Right.
So hopefully they will remember it better and this experience better. And they can actually test how severe the dementia is by having this experience. And next week they come and ask them, oh, do you remember what you ate last week or what you saw last week? And then some people will completely forget. Then we can do the experience again for them. Right. And then hopefully next week they'll be like, oh yes, I ate this delicious chicken rice last week.
Yeah. Do you think there could have been something different along the way? Maybe if you kept your co-founder, that you would still be here?
I cannot make that kind of simulation in my head, but it has been much easier. It has been much easier, and this should have been the way.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So if you could do everything again, would you just not go with the co-founder at all from the beginning?
I would have gone with my original co-founder, who was the one who got me into VR,
right,
in the VR for elderly in the first place.
So the guy who was the lecturer.
The guy who's the lecturer. So, but then he's a lecturer and also running another company.
Okay.
He's still quite busy. We're trying to get him to. He's helping me sometimes with when he can't officially help me yet.
Okay. On the whole topic of finding the right co-founder, having to fire your co-founder, what advice do you have for people in similar situations?
I guess when all that happened, it felt like an actual relationship breakup.
Oh, wow. So
it's like the same advice for relationships. Probably you should go in with someone who you actually need. If that is what you need is an employee and not a co-founder. If they can just help you with certain things.
Yeah, so find someone crucial.
Someone who really...
Who can really give something to the business, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that you learned anything through this experience of having to fire a co-founder aside from...
Yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun experience. It felt like a real breakup. Then I have to pick up the pieces emotionally.
Right.
Get myself together after that and continue on, which I have been able to do that. I have been from past breakups also, relationship breakups,
right.
And then just continue not letting that kind of stuff affect my work is what I have done with what I have learned from all my experiences from breaking up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your experiences.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you so much, Eugene. If you like what you hear, we're publishing weekly episodes on the Tech in Asia webpage at techinasia.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/techinasia. You can also find us on Spotify at Startup Snapshot. Alternatively, if you hated it, send us an email at podcast@techinasia.com and let us know what didn't work for you or what you'd rather hear. Thanks for tuning in to Startup Snapshot. Until next week, my name's Nat. Goodbye.